Abu Bakr is an old man who is nearing the end of his life. He then gets a fever and he is sick for 15 days and he knows that his death is coming. While he's doing this, Abu Bakr calls his advisors around him and tells them that he intends to nominate Omar as his successor. And while some of them push back a little bit, they trust Abu Bakr's judgment, and Omar is appointed as Abu Bakr's successor before he dies. Omar's a very harsh guy. Abu Bakr perceives that Omar is being extra harsh because he perceives Abu Bakr as weak, and he says he'll grow past this once he's actually the leader. Some of Abu Bakr's last words are, "I wish that I had not thrown open the house of Fatima. I also wish I had asked God's messenger about whom the government rests, so that no one would contend about it." Then Omar takes his place and becomes what the Muslims call commander of the faithful. One of the first things that Omar does after he becomes Khalifa is remember some of the words Muhammad spoke on his deathbed, to remove all non-Muslims from the Arabian Peninsula and leave only Muslims. Tabari says, Omar sent out Yala bin Umayyah to Yemen, commanding him to evacuate the people of Najran according to the instructions of the Prophet in his last illness regarding that, and according to the instructions of Abu Bakr regarding that in his last illness. Come to them, do not tempt them away from their religion, then remove those among them who keep to their religion, but confirm the Muslims in their residence. Survey the land of each of them whom you remove, then offer them a choice of countries of which to emigrate, informing them that we are removing them according to the injunction of God and his messenger. Two religions ought not to be left in the Arabian Peninsula. So Omar then deports all the Christians and Jews from the Arabian Peninsula. Meanwhile, in Syria, no one knows that Abu Bakr is dead, and they're continuing to fight based on his orders. The Byzantines at this point have amassed a massive army at a place called Yarmouk, and the Muslim forces are deciding what to do. And Khalid ibn Walid says that having 4 divisions of their forces was based on their previous orders. But based on this new intelligence of this massive army, they need to unite under one commander. And instead of choosing a commander, they would basically take turns commanding the army. But Khalid took first command, and he delivered a decisive blow against the Byzantine forces and offered a miraculous and crushing defeat to the Byzantines, breaking their power in the Levant. Because of the victory at Yarmouk, this allows the Muslims to enter Jerusalem with no resistance. At this point, the Muslims know that Omar is now Khalifa, and the Patriarch of Jerusalem does not wish to surrender the city to Khalid, but wishes to surrender the city only to the leader of the Muslim nation. So they send for Omar, and he makes the trek from Medina to Jerusalem. Omar makes a pact with the Christians of Jerusalem that sounds like this. In the name of God, the merciful, the compassionate, this is the assurance of safety which the servant of God, Omar, the commander of the faithful, has granted to the people of Jerusalem. He has given them assurance of safety for themselves, for their posterity, their churches, their crosses, their sick, and the healthy of the city, and for all the rituals that belong to their religion. Their churches will not be inhabited by Muslims, and they will not be destroyed. Neither they, nor the land on which they stand, nor their cross, nor their property will be damaged. They will not be forcibly converted. No Jew will live with them in Jerusalem. So obviously Jerusalem at this time has a policy that the Jews are not allowed to live there. That's not something the Muslims have made, that's something that Christians in the time have made, unfortunately. And Omar continues honoring that arrangement. Now there is something called the Pact of Omar that goes into way more details about this. Its historicity is debated all the time, so we'll probably make another video on that. The Muslims push into the Persian Arab territory, and now there is a Persian counterattack. And the Muslims meet the first full-on Persian military force at something called the Battle of the Bridge. And this is the first time Muslims encounter war elephants. And they fight hard, and their doctrine of not retreating carries them a long way. But ultimately, 4 of their commanders are killed trying to fight an elephant, and it treads on them. And then they strategically retreat and get ready to fight another day. But after this, Omar puts together a powerful Muslim force and starts pushing back against the Persians and essentially breaks the entire military power of the Sassanid Empire and takes large parts of Iran and essentially destroys the entire empire in a period of less than 12 years. It's crazy. Meanwhile, the Muslims are consolidating their hold on the Levant and in Syria.